Salute to the church and Deus Volt, infidel. Today's update, I want to talk about the closing of churches. There is a statistics on my website, truthbombs.wordpress.com. truthbombs.wordpress.com. You can go there and you can see the article. You can link it back to Lifeway. This is an article by Tom Rainer, the church growth expert. And in that article, it talks about every year 10,000 churches across America close their doors. 10,000 churches. That comes to 100 to 200 churches per week in America. That is a depressing statistic. But church, you have to realize that just because we're sitting on our hands and we're not being an activist group here in our own nation that we live in, that this is what's happening. Some very conservative churches are holding out, and it seems like the more liberal a church becomes, the more prone it is to closing its doors because, well, you attract that type of person. You attract those snowflakes. For lack of a better word, you attract them. And, they get their feelings hurt and they go to another church. And then they get their feelings hurt there and they go to another church. And then they get their feelings hurt and they say, that's it, I'm done with church. I can just worship in my own living room every Sunday. No, you can't. You're not reading the same Bible I'm reading because you can't do that. But this is the world that we're living in today. People will get their feelings hurt. Oh, so-and-so said something, or so-and-so posted something on Facebook, and so-and-so. Forget so-and-so. You're not going to church for so-and-so. You're going to church for the Almighty God. If you're going to church for so-and-so, if you're offended by so-and-so, then you got a problem. And then you have another group of people who don't go to church, who say that they're Christians, and they're constantly complaining about the churches that they don't even attend. Where's the logic in that? So church, you have to wake up. We have to realize that we're losing this battle. We have to move forward. Okay, I don't want to be depressing at all. Here's the solution. Here is the solution to your problem. If you're in a dying church, here's the solution. There is a fantastic book out there. It's called Why Men Hate Going to Church. I highly recommend that book. It is a life-changing book. You'll get all the statistics that you need in order to see. And the thing is, the growing churches here in America have done this one strategy, and that is stop trying to attract families. Stop trying to work on kids programs. You don't have to stop that. If you have a good collective group that are dedicated specifically to that, then by all means, keep going on with those programs. But that shouldn't be your foundation. The foundation for growing churches in America today are those programs that target men specifically. When a man is committed to coming to church, the family follows. That is what the research and the statistics show. All the statistics show that homosexuality, liberalism, all happened because of a bad relationship with the father or the father figure. Now, that's not true for every case, but that's just what the statistics are showing. There seems to be a correlation there. So, if you can focus on men in your church, you can actually turn this around. So that's what we're trying to do at our local congregation. Me specifically, I've decided, hey, I got to make this my personal responsibility because nobody else will. Because there's a rule in churches today, it's called the 80-20 rule. 80% of the people would sit down and do nothing while 20% do all the work. And if you're in a church today, you probably feel that way as well. If you serve in the church, you probably feel that way. Hey, I let you over and you decided to do 80. Very nice of you. Hey, a little bit of road rage this morning. No. So you got the 80-20 rule here in churches, and that really is for any organization. So it's almost near impossible to change that rule. So you got to focus on that 20% as best as possible, and you have to make that 20% as efficient as possible as well. You got to disciple men in your church and make a difference with those men. That is the good news that we have today. There is a way out. There is a way for doing things. You know what? It follows suit. That's the exact pattern that Jesus also used in the New Testament. He went after a certain group of men. He targeted them. Then they went out and they targeted other men as well. The family always follows whenever the man is committed. You got to remember that, church. So stay faithful, my friend. Deus Vult, infidel.